All right, our first story. Rivian hosts their AI and Autonomy Day. So today, which is December 11th, except if you're watching this, it's actually December 12th. Psych. Um, Rivian hosted their hotly anticipated AI and Autonomy Day. So for starters, let's talk about the heart of all this new stuff. Rivian has pulled the wraps off of its now third generation autonomy computer and a new Rivian Autonomy Processor 1, which are both powered by in-house silicon designs. Rivian is planning on using this hardware in various days. Let's just talk about the AI part first. For starters, they've announced that they plan to build an in-house LLMs into their vehicles, which on the consumer side will reveal itself as the new Rivian Assistant, which will be available on both Gen 1 and Gen 2 R1s. The Rivian Assistant will allow you to interact with the vehicle in a more human way. So, like, you can do voice commands and ask it, you can kind of chain together on the same command instead of, one at a time. As well as you can have the LLM integrate into third-party services. So they specifically called out like Google Calendar. So you could ask for directions to your meeting or whatever, I'm assuming, and it would be able to actually reference your calendar, know that at 9 a.m., for example, you have a meeting at this location, and then it go ahead and put that in your GPS. Which I thought was pretty neat. The other LLM they've talked about was one that's more kind of on the service side, to where the vehicle will be able to take its data and the LLM interpret it and then use that to help aid service techs in figuring out what the heck is wrong with your car. Seemed neat.
Yep.
That's enough AI talk, though.
Yep.
Let's talk
So
about the autonomy part. Oh, no,
I
sorry.
like
Go ahead.
I like it. I mean, the calendar thing, I think Tesla does something similar. If you sync your calendar within Tesla, it will say, do you have a meeting at this location? If you have a location marked, it'll ask you if you want to navigate there. I've never used that feature, but I believe that is a feature. And if I'm wrong, put in the comments. But yeah, go on.
Moving on, let's talk about some autonomy stuff now.
Mhm.
So Rivian did use this event as a chance to announce their new large driving model, which they are going to use to meet the eventual goal of having a level 4 autonomous driver's assistance suite. Rivian says this LDM behaves a lot like an LLM in how it's trained and how it reasons. Rivian claims these autonomy enhancements will roll out to Gen 2 R1 soon, unlocking what Rivian is calling, quote, universal hands-free driving, which is supposed to be available on 3.5 million miles of US and Canada roads. Now, of course, this is going to be locked behind a software subscription or fee. Rivian is calling it Autonomy Plus, and you can either pay a one-time fee of $2,500 or $50 a month. Rivian also gave some information on the R2 during the event, showing off a car that is designed to mimic R2-D2. Hell yeah. And in the event, Rivian confirmed that the R2 will feature a LiDAR sensor in addition to the new autonomy computer mentioned before. Rivian also wanted to point out that the LiDAR is going to be integrated into the roofline without a taxi bubble. That's a quote. And that it won't fry your camera if you point it at it. But
That's
I have
good for
some
Sebastian.
questions. I have some questions and concerns about this. They
What are
also
they?
stated that when R2 launches, it won't have the LiDAR sensor.
Was it
That
an
it will be
add-on?
coming. No, that it will be coming to a later model year. So, and I've had thoughts about this already, kind of thinking about, it must feel real bad to be a Gen 1 R1 owner. To have your car that is, at oldest, a 2022 model year, be to the point now that you're not getting any of this new driver's assistance features. You're losing out on features and software updates that are going to the Gen 2 cars. It's like, these are cars that, were 2 years old when Gen 2 was announced. Didn't have that long of a life cycle before getting completely outmoded, it feels like. They're still getting some new tweaks or whatever. Like, for example, they're going to get the LLM. Cool, I guess. But just like, they already don't get the enhanced highway assist that Gen 2 does. And now, moving even further, they don't get the hands-off or the universal hands-free system. But even then, I also feel bad for those people that are in the Gen 2 R1s. that just spent $120,000 on an R1T quad, whatever. And now they're finding out, oh, there's going to be a LiDAR component in order to achieve level 4 autonomy or whatever, which my car doesn't have. So
it reminds me of the conundrum of hardware 2 and 3 cars, Tesla versus the hardware 4
Yeah.
cars. You're starting to see a lot of the updates come out with Tesla. Hardware 4 is starting to get a lot more updates than hardware 2 and 3, especially with the new tech that's running out with FSD and everything like that. So we have the same situation, it does suck because these cars are expensive. It's not like it's a $20,000 car. These are, like you said, $100,000 vehicles. So it's gotta suck.
And it's like, I'm super pumped to see that they're doing this. I'm super pumped that maybe we're going to have an FSD-like system on another automaker that performs well, whatever. But I just, that part, I can understand why you want to implement and kind of mimic Tesla. I don't know that we should be mimicking Tesla on the outmoding your vehicles super fast.
I'm pissing off our customers.
Yeah. And I mean, I get it, though. The tech changes, obviously, right? And you need to be able to change tech and all that. It's just, this is such a short life cycle on these now 2 generations of vehicles.
Yep.
And like you said, they're expensive.
Yeah. This isn't like
we're not talking about a $35,000 Model 3.
We're not talking about a Chevy Bolt. No offense, Sebastian. But we're not talking about and that's one thing that, I bought my Tesla. They always said, you'll always feel like you have a new car because the software is always going to be up to date. And we've seen this happen where no, that's not it. And the same thing
in your car. Yeah,
it's the same thing with other tech companies like Apple. When they release a new phone, well, guess what? If you don't have the newest phone or this newest operating system, you only get these upgrades, or this upgrade or that upgrade. So it makes you want to purchase a new phone. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how it works out. I doubt people are going to rush out to swap their $100,000 cars for some other $100,000 cars. So, yep.
Well, who knows? People make questionable financial decisions all the time.